Today we're going to break down how a single, just devastatingly clever attack didn't just hit one crypto exchange. No, it triggered a multi-billion-dollar financial firestorm that literally ripped across the entire global market.
And it all starts with this number, $192 million. That's the staggering profit a group of attackers pocketed in a single day, all by exploiting one tiny crack in the system. But you know, their gain was everyone else's pain. That profit, it came at a massive cost, triggering over $1 billion in forced liquidations on just one platform, Binance. And it didn't even stop there. Like a domino effect, that $1 billion of chaos cascaded outwards, contributing to a shocking $19 billion wipeout across the entire crypto market. Insane.
Which leads us to the big question, right? How? How on earth did one localized vulnerability spark a global market meltdown? Well, let's get into it.
So to really understand the attack, we first have to understand the environment. You see, the attackers didn't just strike on a random Tuesday. They waited for the absolute perfect storm of fear and instability. The stage was already set for chaos.
It all kicked off on October 10, 2025. Some major macroeconomic news hits. New U.S. tariffs on China. The market, well, it reacted instantly. Bitcoin dropped 10%, and you could feel the sentiment just plummet from greed straight into fear. This right here was the exact window of opportunity the attackers were waiting for. And less than 24 hours later, they made their move.
All right, now for the main event, the exploit itself. This wasn't some brute force hack. This was elegant. It was a surgical strike that targeted a very specific, and as it turns out, very dangerous feature inside the world's largest crypto exchange.
The weakness was buried inside a feature called the Binance Unified Account. Now, on the surface, it seemed totally normal. It used your portfolio's value as collateral. But here is the critical design flaw, and it's a big one. It calculated asset prices based only on trades happening inside Binance, not the true price across the wider market.
Now, this difference is absolutely everything. The internal price could be easily manipulated. I mean, you dump a huge amount of an asset on Binance, and you could crash its price locally, right there on the exchange, even if it was totally stable everywhere else. A secure system, on the other hand, uses what's called an oracle, which averages prices from lots of exchanges to get a stable, true market value. And for this key function, Binance wasn't using one. Knowing this, the attackers came up with a truly brilliant four-step plan. Okay, first, they went to other exchanges and placed huge bets that the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum would fall. Step 2, they came back to Binance and suddenly dumped between $60 and $90 million of some less common assets. This massive dump instantly crashed the internal price of those assets on Binance. And that's what triggered Step 3. The flawed unified account system saw the value of thousands of users' collateral just plummet, setting off a chain reaction of automated liquidations. And finally, Step 4. These mass liquidations on Binance created real market panic, causing a market-wide price crash, which of course made their short bets on those other exchanges pay off, to the tune of $192 million. And just like that, that's how a localized exploit went global. The forced selling on Binance wasn't contained. It spilled over into the entire market, creating this tidal wave of selling pressure that just hit everyone.
I mean, the scale of the damage here was just immense. The attackers walked away with $192 million, but on Binance alone, they triggered over $1 billion in forced liquidations. They wiped out more than 5 times their profit from other users' funds.
And you've got to remember, behind that billion-dollar number, there are real people. This quote from the analysis really highlights that human cost. For countless everyday investors, this wasn't just some number on a screen. They watched the value of their holdings completely evaporate, with some of their portfolios losing 50 to 70% of their value in just a matter of hours.
So, what can we possibly learn from all this chaos? Well, this event wasn't just a story about a single exchange. It was a massive stress test for the entire crypto ecosystem, and boy, did it reveal some critical vulnerabilities.
The takeaways here are pretty clear. A bug on one exchange can absolutely have global consequences, macroeconomic news can be weaponized to create market fear, and this event proved yet again just how fragile these over-leveraged systems really are. But probably the most important takeaway was a painful billion-dollar lesson on why secure Oracle-based pricing isn't just a feature, it's a necessity.
Now, to its credit, Binance did act quickly. They fixed the flaw in the unified account system to stop this from happening again, and they announced a compensation plan for the users who were hit the hardest.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty sobering thought. This exploit targeted a known, but kind of overlooked vulnerability in the world's largest exchange. It just makes you wonder, if a system this big can be rocked so hard, what other hidden flaws are just sitting there, waiting for the next perfect storm?